The PLA launches a new round of war games around Taiwan. A survey shows electric car charging facilities in the city are outdated and expensive. And 8 monkeys found dead at the Hong Kong Zoological and Botanical Gardens. Hello and welcome to TVB News. The People's Liberation Army Eastern Theater Command today held the SWORD 2024B military drills around Taiwan. Taking part in the large-scale integrated operation are the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Rocket Force troops with a focus on sea-air combat readiness. Danny Zhou reports.
A high-pitched whistle breaking the silence of a training ground. PLA troops getting into positions, heading to designated areas. Meanwhile, out at sea, warships were approaching Taiwan from different directions. After the Joint Command Center issued operational orders, a fleet led by the Liaoning aircraft carrier conducted drills on a wide range of operations, including vessel-aircraft coordination, joint air suppression, and fire strikes on sea and ground targets. Also participating in the drills was the China Coast Guard, which sent full formations for law enforcement patrols. Codenamed SWORD 2024B, the military exercise was carried out with the aim of testing the joint combat capabilities, both within and beyond the island chain. Analysts said the latest round of war games could facilitate the seamless transition from simulation to real-world scenarios. A Defense Ministry spokesman called the move a legitimate and necessary operation for safeguarding national sovereignty and national unity. He said it was a stern warning to what he termed the separatist activities linked with the pro-independence factions. 4 days ago, Taiwan leader Lai Ching-te asserted Taiwan's sovereignty and vowed to resist unification with the Chinese mainland in his double-tenth speech. The mainland's latest muscle flexing has sent shockwaves through Taiwan for its sheer scale, complexity, and proximity to the island. Taipei has condemned the PLA drills. Fighter jets were seen taking off from the island's Hsinchu air base. The Foreign Ministry in Beijing warned that Taiwan independence and peace in the Taiwan Strait were irreconcilable, and provocations from pro-independence forces will inevitably lead to countermeasures. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
A survey has shown that electric car charging facilities in Hong Kong are outdated and expensive. Concerned groups hope the government will upgrade the current system. Mimo Singhai reports.
This car park has 30 electric car charging spots. Lawmaker Look Chung-hong has driven an electric car for about 2 years. He said many car parks in the city have installed medium-speed chargers, which take roughly 10 hours to charge a car. Look said the lengthy charging time is a reason to stop some petrol car drivers from switching to electric vehicles. Starting from this month, 40 government-owned car parks have launched a new policy. Electric vehicle drivers now pay based on the quantity of electricity they use. Some concerned groups said other car parks should upgrade their chargers to fast speed. They said the local charging facility should adopt the mainland standard instead of the European Union one. In Shenzhen, some ultra-fast speed chargers are available, and vehicles can recharge over 80% of their batteries in 10 minutes. Minus 9, TVB News.
8 monkeys were found dead at the Hong Kong Zoological and Botanical Gardens. The Leisure and Cultural Services Department said on Monday that the dead animals are 3 cotton-top tamarins, 3 white-faced sakis, 1 DeBrazza's monkey, and 1 common squirrel monkey. The mammal section of the site has been closed for disinfection and cleaning work. Agriculture, Fisheries, and Conservation Department experts will conduct autopsies and tests to confirm the cause of death. The remains of former National People's Congress Standing Committee Chairman Wu Bango, who has passed away last week, were cremated in Beijing today. National flags around the nation were flown at half-staff as an act of mourning. In Beijing, the national flag was flown at half-mast at Tiananmen Square and the Great Hall of the People. In Hong Kong, both national and SAR flags were flown in a similar manner at the Central Government Complex, Government House, border control points, as well as Hong Kong International Airport. Mourning also at the headquarters of mainland organizations in the city, such as the Central Government's Liaison Office. Bango died from illness at the age of 84 in Beijing last Tuesday. Still ahead, a Hezbollah drone attack on an Israeli army base leaves 4 dead and dozens injured. 3 U.S.-based academics win this year's Nobel Prize in Economics for researches of prosperity. And the latest about the Panda Twin cubs at Ocean Park. Welcome back. 4 Israeli soldiers have been killed by a Hezbollah drone that hit their base in Israel. Dozens were injured. The Israeli military is considering a response which could be an aerial attack on Iran, which backs the Hezbollah militia in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Israeli forces have pounded Gaza in its war with Hamas as the U.S. plans to deploy military personnel and sophisticated equipment to defend Israel. David Garrett reports.
Little signs of damage from afar. This is the military base Hezbollah hit with a drone, killing 4 teenage soldiers in the deadliest strike on Israel in a fortnight. Initially censored, Israeli media did not report why dozens of ambulances were moving the injured. As military chief Herzi Halevi visited the scene, the army admitted they'd been struck by Hezbollah. Later, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant made the same trip to the Binyamina base to talk to those who experienced the attack. The country's National Rescue Service said 61 were wounded. It is rare for drones to injure so many with Israel's advanced defences. In the skies above Haifa, rockets intercepted by those defences. The US says it is sending troops and an advanced anti-missile system to defend Israel from Iran. The Terminal High Altitude Area Defence, or THAAD, is designed to shoot down ballistic missiles. Iran-backed Hezbollah has shown solidarity with Hamas in Gaza. Israel conducted a precise strike on militants beside a hospital in Deir al-Balah. A massive fire broke out. As people tried to douse flames, a screaming figure emerges from the inferno and is quickly covered in a blanket. Groups tried to control the blaze with extinguishers and whatever water they could find. As the fire raged, several smaller explosions erupted, forcing volunteers tackling the blaze to run for cover. Hours later, the fire was put out. Palestinians walked around the site recovering what they could. A bicycle lay in the ruins of one burnt-out shelter. Many mourning the loss of people they knew, with funeral prayers held. Israel military footage shows troops operating in southern Lebanon attacking 70 Hezbollah targets by ground and air. Israeli forces have repeatedly fired on UN peacekeepers in Lebanon known as UNIFIL. They say Israeli tanks forced entry through the gates of one position and fired smoke rounds. UNIFIL say it is a further violation of international law, alongside widespread criticism as UNIFIL peacekeepers were hurt. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says the Israeli attacks may constitute a war crime. David Garrett, TVB News.
3 U.S.-based academics have won the 2024 Nobel Economics Prize for their research into why global inequality persists, especially in countries dogged by corruption and dictatorship. At the announcement in Stockholm, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences said the 3 economists, Darren Acemoglu, Simon Johnson, and James A. Robinson, have demonstrated the importance of societal institutions for a country's prosperity. It added societies with a poor rule of law and institutions that exploit the population do not generate growth of change for the better. The laureates' research helps us understand why. Acemoglu and Johnson work at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Robinson conducts his research at the University of Chicago. The Economic Prize is formally known as the Bank of Sweden Prize in Economic Sciences in memory of Alfred Nobel. The central bank established it in 1968 as a memorial to Nobel. Some Chinese teams have traveled to the rural regions of the island nation of Madagascar off Africa to build infrastructure and improve the local inhabitants' standard of living. This, as up to 80% of Madagascans live in poverty, with many lacking access to clean water and proper health care. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Madagascar may be surrounded by ocean, but fresh water is not always easy to come by. The island nation suffers from a shortage of water facilities and is frequently plagued by famine and drought. Here in Toliara, on the west coast of the country, locals used to retrieve water daily from a well located far away from their homes, sometimes having to travel more than 20 kilometers a day just to fetch water. But the situation took a turn for the better after a Chinese company began setting up water facilities, including water pipes and over 200 water supply systems in the country starting from 2021. Clean water is now more accessible to more than 70,000 people, or around half of the local population. Xu Zhengmin, the deputy manager of the Chinese company, said his firm was also involved in other projects in Madagascar, such as the construction of highways and repairing bridges. He believes that the building of water facilities is more meaningful because it helps to alleviate problems related to the lack of clean water. Besides providing on-the-ground help, China has also deployed a special naval vessel, Peace Ark, with medical supplies and army medics to the island's shores. The ship functions as a mobile hospital, providing free medical consultation services in the northern city of Antsiranana. Facilities on board the vessel include some 2,600 medical devices. Patients could even consult Chinese medicine practitioners there.
Some hospitals don't have some technology, especially for the surgeon. I think this both hospital help the Madagascar.
More than 40 types of surgeries can be performed on board the Peace Ark, and residents often travel hours to seek medical help. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The Chinese University of Hong Kong and the Prince of Wales Hospital have rolled out a high-tech imaging machine in a bid to enhance treatment for stroke patients. They also launched an emergency stroke unit, a model to facilitate quicker diagnosis and treatment time. Mimo Singhai reports.
Strokes are the second leading cause of death globally. In Hong Kong, more than 10,000 acute stroke cases are admitted to hospitals every year, almost 80% being ischemic strokes. While it is crucial for stroke patients to receive timely attention, the international benchmark door-to-treatment time for the disease is 60 minutes. To reduce the waiting time for treatment, CHK, the Prince of Wales Hospital, and the Beijing Tiantan Hospital have launched a one-stop acute stroke management model, the Emergency Stroke Unit, or the ESU. Under the ESU model, clinical evaluation, imaging, and treatment can be conducted in the same room, which aims to reduce the door-to-treatment time to 20 minutes. Meanwhile, the team also introduced the application of a 0.23T low-field magnetic resonance imaging.
In the low-field MRI, comparing with CT, we have a much more detailed and accurate information regarding the patient's brain conditions. So with a low-field MRI, we have get a much more information than ordinary CT. Besides from whether there's acute blood within the patient's brain, we can also obtain other information, like when we can estimate when the patient had the stroke, when the blood vessels is blocked.
The university and the Prince of Wales Hospital are the first pilot spots for the ESU model over the 18 months of a clinical study, which has two phases. The target number of patients for the study are 200. News 9, TVB News.
Ocean Park has released the latest photos and footage of the two baby panda twins to celebrate the 2-month anniversary of their birth. The park said the two animals now weigh over 2.5 kilograms, adding that they will be ready to meet the public around the Lunar New Year in late January 2025. Timothy Lee reports.
The now 2-month-old Panda Twin sister was seen crying loudly as she crawled on Ocean Park's specially designed baby panda bed. The national treasure, now able to see, seemed curious about the world around her. Ocean Park said she currently weighs around 2.7 kilograms, around 200 grams heavier than her younger brother. Photos of the twins posted on mainland social media showed the strong bond between the pair, with brother and sister sticking close to each other even in bed. In order to differentiate the two siblings, Ocean Park noted the black circles around the older sister's eyes have a slight upward curve, while those around the brother's eyes are rounder and darker. This, as an Ocean Park representative, emphasized the national treasures will only gain their hearing abilities when they are 2 to 2.5 months old. She added the older sister has a more gentle character, while the younger brother has a more boyish charm, but could only determine their personalities after further maturity. The twins' mother, giant panda Ying Ying, currently takes care of her children every 7 to 10 days, compared with the earlier 3 to 4 day period. This arrangement is sometimes less than voluntary, as the park's staff members previously had to use golf clubs to separate Ying Ying and the panda twins. Besides Ying Ying's breast milk, the twins also feed on special baby formula created by Ocean Park, while their health condition remains closely monitored. This, as the park said, the baby siblings will possibly meet the public when they turn half a year old, during the Lunar New Year in late January 2025. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.